All it takes to uncover hidden gems is a clear eye, an open mind, and a willingness to search for inspiration in places other people aren't willing or able to go. Probably some smart ass guy. Now, this will be a very impromptu topic that came in my mind a couple days ago when I was heading to take shower, and I looked there for a couple seconds in between. So again, mind mat karna mention, because there's a lot of detail in this one. So I ask this question to myself every day: am I meant for something big, or am I just deluding myself in thinking that I am capable? And two situations usually lead to this question: when I do something extremely good that I'm actually proud of, or on the other side, when I don't see any real progress in my work. And the thing is, it's the same question, but every day or every once in a while, I have different answers. And I believe that we all have these conversations, right? So let's talk about how you actually see if you're meant for something big or not. And this is a thoughtful video, and the aim is to get you to think more. So let's begin. Alright, so there's 3 questions that I want you to write down and ask yourself for answers to these at the end of the day. First one is, am I worthy of my goals? Second one, did I put in sufficient amount of effort today? And third one, am I really going in the right direction? Now, the thing is, some days you're on top of the world, and on other days you question your own worth. And that will be the direction that you will go to when you answer these questions. So the aim is to reduce the amount of times you get the second type of answer, which is where you question your own worth. So the thing is, in my case, I feel fulfilled in my actions when I know that I'm heading in the right direction and I'm heading in the direction of my purpose, mainly like what my current purpose is. So if we go along that lines, let's look at people that we look up to. They're usually known for one or two things, whether it's some actor or some fighter or some creator that you follow. They're usually known for a couple things only, which are their core skills, right? But the thing is, they haven't done just that one thing. They actually just succeeded in those two things. But the thing is, it comes with a lot of stress and failure, and the amount of trial and error is actually hidden there. So if you deep it down, you need to ask yourself that what actually led them to get to those couple things that they are known for right now. So I asked that to myself when I was studying a couple creators that I look up to. So the thing is, this is what I found, and I found this to happen in my journey as well, is that they started asking better questions to themselves and to others, people they learned from, right? And they did that until they had enough trial and error, and at that point they had better judgment. And through that continuous progress and process, they stumbled across that one thing that actually changed their life. Now, the timeline is different for everyone. Some people find it early, some people find it after years. And where it all starts is they start having these conversations with themselves. And because they have asked themselves enough questions and they ask others, they go through enough trial and error, they usually know what opportunity is meant for them, and they become a better judge of basically predicting the path that a certain opportunity leads towards. So, and the thing is, whenever they find this opportunity, they start with the thought of being the best in that field, and that actually should be the case, because if not, then why start? So this is kind of the trend that I have seen amongst people who eventually find something that they want to do. Now, either they are known for it, they are very well known, so they have a big influence, or they just become a master of their own craft and they are only known within the community, right? So this is where people who are skilled and who are creators are separated from people who are just skilled and they don't want to be creators or have a big influence. So from here we transition to the next part. When you look at your idols, do you want to do what they are doing, or are you just chasing their lifestyle? Ask yourself. And then let's look at the three types of dreams that we have, and they are interconnected. First one is the dreams that are induced by parents and society. Now I'll share my example. I had the induced dream of becoming a top tier engineer, doing my masters from America and all, and making it big because it was induced in me by my parents. Until I got abysmal grades in my first and second year. At that time, I used to curse my inability to get good grades, right? Because I was not that good academically in college, although I was a pretty good student while I was in school. I used to curse myself of not having the ability to code or even learn how to code, because I just didn't develop that learning of anything that's computer science related. So I wanted to believe that okay, maybe I can still get this done. Like I was getting hit with reality one punch at a time, until after my fourth sem I actually had to accept that that induced dream isn't for me because I'm just not made for it, or I'm not made to work towards it. So that was the induced dream, right? Now let's look at the second one. It's the induced dream by the lifestyle of our idols. So I see Mini Mentor as my idol to this date, since the time that I started watching him. Earlier, I used to idolize him for his lifestyle, which was him playing football, playing FIFA, and being able to earn a living through just that. And now, over time, I saw his videos, I still enjoy them, but now I value his work ethic and his commitment to his work more. Even though his main channel isn't that active right now, but he is as committed as they get. So I saw that I saw Mini Mentor during, like, after my fourth semester when I gave up on doing masters, and I thought that okay, maybe I can be a YouTuber as well, and all I have to do is just make videos like him. It's that simple, right? And if I do that, maybe I'm special, not in that way, but maybe I'm someone who can get it done. But I actually never started because I didn't want to do that in the long term. But I never lost sight of that vision of me actually creating something, and I never ruled that one possibility out. Even if I gave up on the dream of becoming something like Mini Mentor. Now, when I get messages of people asking me, hey, I want to be a creator as well, my first response usually is, you don't want to be a creator. You just want the ideal life of a creator who has things in control, who has control over his or her finances, the cash flow, and they have earned their freedom of time and location. And because you only see the perceived reality, that is usually the good side of a creator's life, you start chasing that lifestyle and not why they are doing this or what's the actual reason behind them being a creator. And with that, when you deep that down, you need to start understanding that when you are aiming for a lifestyle of your idol, you don't actually know what your obsession is. You are just obsessing over a borrowed vision of someone else's model life that you want to achieve in the same way. That's where you start getting wrong. Because if you believe enough, let's say a creator earns pretty good, he has location and time freedom, you can achieve that. through a lot of ways. Maybe you start your own one-person business. Maybe you become a creator, but you become a different kind of creator where it's meant to feed your business. And at the end, you can have that model lifestyle. But to arrive to that point, people usually don't think deep enough because there's not enough clarity there. Because they haven't asked themselves enough questions, because they are either chasing the induced dream by the society, their parents, or they are just obsessed with the perceived reality that they see from their idols. But this is where you need to start molding things together as well. See, success leaves clues, and when you study the life of your idols, you will find those clues. Now, this is where the game actually starts. Your perception about yourself gives you the eye to find those clues, then your choices gets you to pick those clues up, and an absolute clarity about your own character gets you to integrate those clues within your own personality and life, which makes you unique, and which is where you actually start going to the direction of your destiny, but on a different train, on a different track. The end point remains the same, but you have a different path now. And once you create a mix of everything above, you start arriving at clarity. This is where you start seeing what's meant for you or not. And this leads to number 3. Now, a big reason why I consider Dragon Ball Z as my favorite anime is the fact that these Saiyans, right, they never fear any challenges. They had no issue in failing because they knew that it will make them better eventually. For them it was strength. In real life, right now, everything is on the table. See, me not getting good grades in college was a blessing in disguise. It led me to think of the fundamental issues I had. I was really shy. I was not able to speak English until I made the decision to work towards that, to chase it, to face my fear and become better at the things which were my weaknesses by making my own videos. Because I saw it as a path to increase my confidence. Because again, fear of judgment, right? Because I knew that I'll be eaten alive in the industry if I'm not able to communicate properly, hold my ground, and if I'm not clever. Now, there's a lot of people who are just made to follow commands, but I was not one of those. I couldn't even follow the commands of the guides during our coding classes because I just didn't want someone to tell me what to do, right? And I was like, okay, let's put the career part aside. I'll just tackle this one issue. I'll just make myself a better communicator. And how I do that? I started making my own videos. And if the Saksham of 2019 did not arrive to that conclusion because of asking himself questions again and again, arriving to the conclusion that, okay, if I want to make videos, I'm going to have to ask my parents for a camera. So I asked my mom to buy me a GoPro, and this is where it all started. Now, the thing is, your goals change over time, even the path. You just have to make sure that you're heading in the right direction. Every event you're facing in life right now, it's leading you to that one moment where everything changes. And now, whether you make the best of it or not, it's up to you. This is where clarity comes in. And ask yourself, are you trying to solve step 2 before even addressing step 1? Now, which is where it leads us to the last part, which is choices. So here's the actual formula that I've uncovered until now that has helped me gain clarity in any aspect of life at the moment. It's inspiration or induction, that leading you to thinking, which is your thought, that leading you to initial action towards that thought, then enough trial and error, which leads you to self-reflection, which leads you to clarity, which leads to better choices, and which leads to long-term path towards your destiny. And I'll summarize my entire life in an example that fits this formula. The urge of becoming better at football to being inspired by Miniminter to make football videos of me taking free kicks during college, to using that as a tool to gain confidence, to speak good English, to me doing a course during lockdown, Jason Capital's social media boss, to me pushing myself to speak to people that I don't know on video calls, make friends like that online, to me making money because I started to have connections, and then through those connections me landing a job, to me finding the purpose of sharing my story again, starting from 850 followers back in December 2022 to now over 85k in March, to a sea of opportunities opening up. Now if you put this in parallel with that formula, you'll see the similarities. Now you see where it all started. This is where I want you to develop a better eye for things that are meant for you. You self-reflect to the point where you're in line with your choices and your character, because it's all a matter of choices. Your choices are the driving factor behind you making something meaningful yourself or not. And when you make meaningful choices, it increases the odds of you finding that one thing that takes all the favor on your side. And you have to entertain thoughts, you have to entertain possibilities, but the issue is you just focus on taking the right step. When the right step actually comes, when you have failed enough times and made better choices every single moment that led you to that one defining moment of your life. And these choices give light to the next step, and even if you don't see the full picture, you'll be able to see until the horizon, and then you'll know if it's meant for you or not.